it's a fighty fellow scientist.
Half-Life is, and will always be, a first-person shooter. But, that makes me wonder, what if it wasn't? What if instead of killing scientists, you were just another unlucky guy trying to survive the resonance cascade? And what if every character you thought you knew were turned into a nightmare fuel version of themselves? What if Half-Life was more like FNAF? This is Inside Black Mesa, a Half-Life fan game that asks, what if we took the world of Half-Life, slapped it into the formula of Five Nights at Freddy's, and turned the dial on the horror up to 11? Now, I know what you're thinking, but wait, Billy, do we really need a horror version of Half-Life? And my answer to that question is, no. But is it cool? Yeah. The game features cutscenes that inform the player about the story, which is ridiculously simple. You play as Casello,
You bloodsucker!
a rookie security guard starting your new gig at Black Mesa. You used to work on the facility's security system, but for one reason or another you changed jobs.
Man, no! Motherfuck.
A receptionist asks you to check the malfunctioning computers of the facility, and then we head off to grab our gear. While the cutscene is pretty short, I think it does a good job at immersing the player in the game. Almost everything in your surroundings can be interacted with, from monitoring security cameras to chatting with other guards.
Shouldn't you be on duty by now?
If you haven't noticed already, the map you're playing in is actually from Half-Life Blue Shift, and you can even find Barney Calhoun's gear next to yours, which shows us that the cutscene takes place a couple of hours before Barney and Gordon arrive in Black Mesa. After grabbing our helmet and vest, we are snapped back to reality, and we find ourselves in a small room in the office complex chapter of Half-Life. In front of us is a gun, which I'll talk about later, and a TV with a note on it. Picking up the note, it says,
"Hey, you got your arm blasted off by that alien on the elevator. I patched you up. You didn't die. Stay put. We'll get help. You're safe. But in case, use gun."
This immediately brings up a couple of questions, but they'll get answered later. The gameplay sticks to the classic Five Nights at Freddy's formula. There are 5 nights, each ramping up the tension by introducing new characters or making existing ones harder to manage. But speaking of characters, one of the enemies active this night is the zombie god. It's a vortigaunt, with no legs, and a head crab on his head. A zombie god. His AI is relatively straightforward, but don't let that fool you. He starts in a small room and steadily makes his way toward your office. If he gets inside, he'll chill there for a couple of seconds before killing you. That is, unless you shoot him with your gun.
I can explain.
So if you've been paying attention so far and not having this video played in the background while doing something else, you have a gun in your office, which is actually usable. You have 46 bullets and a max capacity of 6. Once you pick up your gun, you cannot open the cameras, because you only have one arm and can only do one thing at once.
Yeah, no fucking shit, you fucking idiot.
I'm sorry. But you can still reload like a normal person, which doesn't really make sense. Once the Vortigal enters your office, you'll have to shoot him twice in order to leave. That doesn't kill him permanently, however. He'll go back to where he started, and the cycle continues. There's also another character that's active this night, but he doesn't really do much yet, so I'll talk about him when he becomes more relevant. After we finish the first night, we are put onto the next cutscene. It's pretty much more of the same. Walk around, talk to people, and then it ends. We have to get to these scientists who are fixing the computers, but while doing so we have to talk to a guard to open this door for us. An interesting thing about these cutscenes is how they introduce future characters you'll encounter. Take this guard I mentioned earlier for example. He mentions that the new cameras which generate automated reports often falsely flag other security guards. Even small noises trigger these reports, forcing the guards to find workarounds like occasionally switching places. This directly ties to the next character that becomes active on the second night. The security guard. Whenever he says one of his voice lines,
I'm on a good cushion at the house.
You will have a few seconds to locate him on the cameras. If you fail, you will be jump scared. The number of seconds depends on the night you're on. If it's night 2 where he first becomes active, it's 25, but if it's any other night, it's 15. The main challenge in finding him is his position on the cameras. He usually stays well hidden, often lurking in corners, shadows,
I must avenge Mario,
or other obscured areas. If you do manage to spot him, you'll need to stare him down for 5 seconds to make him go away. This can create a lot of stressful situations, especially with this next character. The scientist. He will chill under a lamp in one of the cameras, and will slowly come inside your office.
What the fuck?
I didn't mean it like that. If he catches you looking at the monitor at that moment, or even if you interact with anything while he's inside, it's game over. He will go away if you stay put after 2 seconds. To prevent him from reaching your office too fast, you can freeze him by looking at him on the cameras. This can be useful if he is 1 or 2 rooms away from your office, but not as much if the security guard becomes active at the same time. After working on the computers for a while, this scientist asks us to retrieve a wrench from the office where we began the first cutscene, and for some reason the scientists in Black Mesa are really racist towards security guards. Like, listen to this.
Shouldn't you be guarding some donuts and coffee right about now?
After picking up the pipe wrench, we are sent on to the 3rd night. From now on the nights will only make the other characters harder to deal with, so I should probably introduce the enemy I left off earlier. This is the zombie. He works similar to the security guard, but he's distinct enough to stand out as his own unique character. He will make a random sound and appear on one of the cameras. Hi guys! However, he doesn't immediately kill you if you don't find him in time. Instead, he progresses through stages, gradually getting closer to attacking until he finally jump scares you. He's never really been a problem for me, but this next and final character most certainly was. The headcrab will randomly appear in the left side of your office, and all you have to do is shoot him. While he sounds really simple, this guy has probably killed me more times than all the enemies combined. He doesn't make a sound whenever he enters your office while you're on the cameras, which is really annoying. But anyway, let's move on to the final nights of the game. We wake up to the sound of sirens blazing in our ears. Apparently some people over at Anomalous Materials caused a resonance cascade. I wonder who. These 2 guys have come up with a plan. We have to get some weapons from the armory and then go to the offices to try and get in contact with anyone. Since nothing really of note happens in night 4, I'll just skip to the final night of the game. After grabbing some weapons, we head over this elevator, when suddenly we get attacked by a vortigal. The final night of the game is pretty challenging. It took me a while to beat it, but during that process, I came up with a few strategies that helped me succeed. The first one is to always let the scientist enter your office if he's close. Not only does this prevent issues if the security guard wakes up while you're stalling him, but it also sends the scientist back to the start, giving you even more time to stall him. You should also try and avoid to get rid of the zombie entirely. That way, you'll always know where he is. Lastly, it's good to keep an eye out for the head crab in your office. Trust me, you don't want to know how many times I forgot to do that. And as we beat the night, we are sent into one final cutscene. Unlike the previous ones that showed how we got where we are, this one takes place right after night 5 in our office, but the strange thing is, nobody is here. Every enemy we had to face so far is suddenly gone. We find an exit that leads straight into the void, and because we're incredibly smart, we decide to walk right into it. Once we're inside, there's no turning back, so our only option is to go forward, and we meet the G-Man. He tells us that he's impressed at how we've managed to survive for this long by basically doing nothing. But his employers don't want us to intervene much further in the Black Mesa incident, so he puts us in stasis for an unknown amount of time. And we've completed the game, but you've seen the length of the video. We're still not done yet. You unlock an extras menu, which includes some pretty cool stuff, like how you can view renders of the enemies and their jump scares, or view scrap features, like how the game was supposed to have its own unique map instead of reusing sections from Half-Life. or unused designs for characters, but this menu also includes a couple of modes I'd like to touch on. First up, Custom Night. This lets you customize the AI level of every enemy in the game, creating your very own personalized night. For those unfamiliar, AI levels determine how aggressive or active an enemy will be during the night. They're completely inactive at level 0, but become faster as it progresses. The maximum level is 20, where enemies are at their most challenging and relentless. I tried beating the night with every character maxed out, but honestly, I'm pretty sure it's impossible. Next, Endless Mode. This is exactly as it sounds. Survive for as long as possible. The in-game clock is replaced by a timer, and the AI level of each enemy gets randomized every minute. The lowest level someone can have is 7, while the highest 20, meaning 1 minute you can be chilling in your office and the other. After you die, your high score gets saved, and that's it for the extras. The game also has some secret cheat codes that you can input in the game's intro to get access to some pretty cool stuff. If you spell debug, you will enter debug mode. You won't notice anything at first, but by pressing the D key, you will be shown a bunch of statistics, like the AI level of the enemies, what camera they're on, and so on. You can even skip 10 seconds by pressing A, and before you ask, yes, I did try to skip 520 like this.
Mr. Freeman, but you're not supposed to be here. As a matter of fact, you're not.
However, we're almost 12 minutes well into the video, and I've been keeping something secret from all of you. Something that's pretty massive. You see, I actually made this game. Yes, the game I just spent 12 minutes talking about was made by me, and in just 2 weeks surprisingly. I've been making games for quite a while, and I always wanted to create a video like this, so managing to pull it off was pretty cool. Anyway, that's basically Inside Black Mesa, my interpretation of what a Half-Life game might look like if it were done in the gameplay style of Five Nights at Freddy's. If you want to check it out, the game is completely free. But just a heads up, it's only available for Windows, so if you're on that platform, feel free to give it a try. And if you're too lazy to play the game, you can type Billy in the game's intro to unlock basically everything. Alright, that's all from me. See you next time.
Hold on. How could Billy be there if you say he was in this city causing havoc?
Well, first off, we literally have camera footage of him killing a man for no reason. Is that not enough proof?
Alright then. I'll send reinforcements to find this scoundrel.
Sorry to pop in unannounced. I hope I'm not interrupting something, am I?
Oh no. What do you want?
Don't act stupid, you know why I'm here. Just tell me where it is and I'll leave.
I don't know where it is. It was stolen from me years ago. I've been guarding it in this city for a decade, but one day when I went to check on it, it was gone. Now leave before I call reinforcements.
It's gone, you say? Very well then, I'll take my leave, but not before this. I didn't do that. Hey, wait. Got you. Wait, what? Where did he go?